in playoffs, if teams swap sides between games, champ select is going to flip too. So the graphic will always match where the players are seated on stage. So NAVI are on the left-hand side because that's where they're on stage, but they are on red side. If you struggle
that is confusing.
with minor things like this, this has been a tough year for you between right of first selection and this one. But
here's the good news.
NAVI are always left, Fnatic are always right. So it makes that simpler.
Yeah, and NAVI first pick. So first pick is still on the left, if that helps at all.
But now it's first pick. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does help.
Yeah, NAVI is first pick.
All right,
just
well,
to be
there we
clear.
go. Well, the bans and best of stay is banned. Unsurprisingly, Varus remains banned. And now what appears to be a little bit of targeting towards Razork's champion pool, just don't want to give him the ease of execution of a J4.
When we see Poby banned, the problem for me is it lists a ton of champs.
Yeah.
Vi, Rakan.
Do you have a dash?
Rel,
Qiyana.
Vi banned, so that's one.
Qiyana would not be high on my list, but against Rhilech probably is. Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of dashing
But they
junglers.
banned Vi, so what does that mean?
They're just targeting Razork.
Okay, they just.
I mean, they did
That's actually, you're completely right. They've literally just said, you know what, let's just ban all of Razork's champs. Let's just do that.
I'm gonna be honest. We feel silly there. We were trying. You were trying to do some.
I was trying to predict.
You're trying to do the calculus, and Jack's like, that's addition, bro. That's addition. All those are Razork champs.
That's 1 + 1 + 1 is ban Razork. Right, got it. Cool. That makes sense.
You're too many layers deep. You're thinking about what they're thinking about and thinking about that.
So is it just a Taliyah first pick, maybe?
Possible. Comfortable for Poby.
Oh, wow.
And again, these are the flexible options that NAVI have been known to bring out. So Aatrox is a flex pick for this team. Maynter and Rhilech both comfortable in playing it. An opportunity for Empyros to, in theory, counter pick, but it's so frustrating in these situations to actually try and get a good top lane matchup.
I think you can like pretty safely assume it's jungle because Aatrox blind pick is not usually seen too often, and it's just we're mostly seeing it in Rhilech's hand, so I would like Fnatic to.
But if he picks something dumb top lane, he's immediately getting swapped.
Okay, yeah. So I want Fnatic to pick jungle like they did. I like the Pantheon for Razork. You can have a lot of impact on that across the map.
Yunara's open as well. They could just do Pantheon.
Yeah, Pantheon Yunara sounds pretty good. I completely forgot about that champ. And Corki now out as well, so I think Yunara makes a lot of sense.
Or they could do Taliyah.
Yeah, Fearless is so nice. I forgot, and I was thinking like, oh god, it's another Corki game, isn't it? It's not.
It's not another.
There's no Corki.
No more Corki.
No Corki, no Cassandra.
Okay, so again, we're assuming that this Aatrox for now is going jungle, or at least I am. I don't know about you two. And I think that
I'm assuming it as well.
Yeah, okay. So now the question for me is, does Poby want Rise? Obviously, we've been seeing a bunch of Rise come out in the middle lane, but does he think it's valuable into Taliyah? Do you want something that can match in the side lane?
Ooh.
Ahri.
Interesting.
That is a bit of a surprise. I don't think this is our first of the LEC, but Ahri not super common in the current meta.
It might be. It said 0% on the screen, but who knows. Rise, though, did get nerfed.
You could be right.
Rise did get nerfed, and Phase Rush got nerfed. So crucially, I think that really has pushed Rise down the ranks quite a bit. Maybe we'll still be seeing him later on in Fearless, but it kind of shows here that Poby decides to go for the Ahri instead, which sets up that Aatrox as well, because normally always when you have a carry jungle, you really want the mid laner to have some sort of setup for that carry to be able to still gank and have impact throughout the game.
And it seems like they want safety on side lane against the power of this Taliyah Panth picking so many mobile champions. But I will say, a lot of Navi's wins, Poby has been just on these scaling options every single game. The one exception was a Kali game where they couldn't really finish. They couldn't really pull it across the finish line. So need to see how effective this Ahri is in his hands, because Fnatic, they've got the side lane threat, and now with the Yunara, they certainly have a ton of scaling.
Yeah, exactly that, Drakos. I feel like Fnatic already have a pretty good teamfight comp. Like, they've got really solid control around neutrals. The fact that Fnatic can use the Taliyah to control a lot of space. You then have Yunara, who just has incredible scaling teamfight damage. Pantheon with his snap engages. Both sides are looking for a little bit more frontline and utility. But remember, Nautilus and Leona, two of the best frontline utility supports, are gone. Both Braum and Alistar now raise a lot in terms of value, but if you choose to go for the Braum, you're limiting your engage options on the bot side of the map. The Nico ban, I think, makes a ton of sense, limiting a lot of that AoE CC provided around the teamfight, and then the Karma, they're worried about Ezreal Karma, really dominant bot lane 2v2.
And setting up for the Alistar, naturally, right? We saw so many Yunara Alistar lanes that have worked fantastically. Lospa's played the champion 5 times already.
He's kind of an Alistar Nautilus 2-trick
He has,
thus far.
I mean, there's more he's pulled out, but those are the tricks that have certainly worked the best.
But
And it
there we
seems
go.
like, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and I also think Navi's thinking about a Sion with both Gwen and Gnar banned away.
I mean, that's kind of been the two trick in the top
Aatrox
lane for
isn't
Maynter.
going top lane?
I mean, it could be as well. Perhaps they're like, yeah, it's, yeah.
No,
I mean,
this is
Gnar
the
and
struggle.
Gwen are both good in Aatrox as well.
Yeah, it's true,
So,
you're right.
could be, but I think probably something a little bit more
Ooh,
tanky
I like
for Maynter would
Bard.
make a lot of sense.
I do like Bard.
Bard into the relatively immobile Yunara.
I do think
obviously
Navi have a
ulting.
lot of just single target damage though, which might not be too bad.
This
but
comp is just way harder to play than
it
their last
definitely is,
composition.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
just, it's very pick orientated, a lot of very singular target focus, and there's that sign we were talking about. So this is the champ that provides them space, basically, right? When the dragons, which they inevitably want to fight for, the Sion is the man that's not afraid to face check, not afraid to give you that opportunity to land your poke and basically do things around the neutral.
I think it was a really nice 4-5 because now you have that engage from the Bard, a little bit of non-committal engage with the ulti, and you have Sion to provide that front line. Does set Empyros up for the counter pick here, however, so he's going to go for the Jax, presumably. He was previously known as Jacksplank, so we'll see what he can do on this Jax counter pick.
Might have changed that
Laure.
one for the resume, by the way. Jackspektra's a hell of a name, but it doesn't always spell success in the pro scene. That said, Empyros is Renekton's oppressive. We'll see what the Jax can do. And like I say, Fnatic did a really good job of using the 1-2 pick, the second picks here, just to secure that Pantheon Taliyah. That heart of their draft has just made this composition feel so straightforward, set clear goals for it early on, whereas Navi, you've got good frontline, you've got a lot of weird utility in the Bard, you don't have a traditional backline carry. Ezreal can be that champ, but it doesn't really compare to the Yunara. This might be a bit tricky for Navi to play out.
On paper, I prefer Fnatic's comp simply because I think it's easier to execute. They have a ton of side lane options. I think their skirmishing is really strong. I think Ahri has to land skill shots in order to be useful, whereas Taliyah, that Q cooldown is so low, it doesn't matter if you're missing rocks every now and then, you'll just throw some more, it'll be completely fine. Ezreal, I think, is the biggest twist in this whole draft because Ezreal is so fight-defining. The fact that his Mystic shots can deal so much damage around neutrals, the amount of poke that he can provide, I think is super important. And I think that for Fnatic, if they're not finding good engages and you're just allowing Sam D to chip you down, then it's going to be a tough time approaching those dragons.
And interestingly, it was Samdi that just chose the Ezreal over the Yunara as we head into game 2 here. So he has a lot of confidence on this pick. I mean, it's a Korean Ezreal. We've seen it before pop off. And I think with the range support as well, bot lane is where I have my eyes at, because that's where Navi really wants to make their mark and get a big early game lead.
Fnatic fans keeping the cheers, keeping the spirit going. And finally seeing Fnatic cook a bit more. It's not the first time we've seen Empyros' Jax, but good to see it once again. I got to sit down with Grabs last week, talk to him a little bit about what was going on for Fnatic, and one of the things that he talked about was best of 1, and I said, okay, so why are you, more than any other team, optimistic about best of 3? And it was about those champion pools. He said champion pools run deep. I'm excited for that. He said some other stuff too. He roasted best of 1 a little bit. There's a lot, a little flame as in every Grabs interview, but the Jax, the first look at what could be a lot of potential new Fnatic picks. That said, the rest of the map, stock standard, stable, comfortable, but maybe some room for Empyros to shine, which is what we were talking about before.
And Samdi with the lethal tempo, really making good use of this early game Ezreal here. He's going to be looking to really punish bot lane, already Lospa down to half HP. It kind of feels like similar to last game where Empyros on the Renekton would be the one hope for Fnatic, and again now on the Jax, he's kind of the one person with a really good matchup here, while the rest of Fnatic, I believe, should be losing. I'm not quite sure how the mid lane matchup is, but I know bot lane at least is quite rough for this Yunara Alistar early on.
Well, the mid matchup, you should just lose prior, basically. Ahri doesn't have the wave clear.
Yeah.
Once you reach level 7, I think, and you've got 4 points in your queue, then you can actually start matching in the wave clear. But the problem is you have to walk very specifically up to the lane in order to actually hit the whole wave with your Q and then start threatening one-shotting those backline caster minions once you get a couple more items. Which makes it easier for Taliyah to then knock you in and punish you and all that jazz. Generally, it's quite Taliyah favored, especially once you get your ult and you have the Unraveled Earth, which makes mobility a lot harder, but that's why I was kind of surprised to see it through. The one thing you do, though, is have great setup. If you can land the charm, and the if is the key word in that sentence, because I can tell you right now, it's more like a the probability of me landing a charm is much lower than actually hitting it, so...
Well, I gotta tell you, Vedi, this matchup isn't looking too bad for Ahri thus far.
I mean, but let's not forget, game 1, Oriana's also supposed to be Vincere, and Poby was getting the better of him as well. And I will just say, I feel like Poby is outperforming Vladi in this series, gentlemen.
I have to agree.
I think that is a safe statement, and what we've learned is we need to stop breaking down mid lane matchups when these two teams play. Now, though, we have Razork on the bottom side. Flash in from Lospa. Knockback is there. Parrot's quick portal through. The flash to fall. A bit of slow coming in from Upset as he tries to extend the trade, but they do manage to make it out, and they spotted Razork crucially, giving them a bit more time as they trade on the top side.
But look at what Rhilech does immediately. He pings the top crab. He's making a beeline towards it after securing the bot one, and he's saying, you're going to try and gank my bot lane? I'm going to punish you for it. Double crab start for Rhilech. His bot lane survives. He's going to be a happy jungler.
And this is exactly what Rhilech wants once again. He's starting off with this carry potential. So great. Getting those 2 crabs. And he's a happy man.
That he is. And now it's really pressure on Razork, Lospa, or Upset to make good on the summoner spell advantage that they built for themselves bottom lane. But Lospa did also burn both his sums, so could be just as vulnerable to a gank from Rhilech in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Vladi continues to, at the very least, lose pressure. The gold still just about dead even, but Poby continuously able to force these waves in. And you mentioned level 7 before, Vedi, but getting there without losing all this prio in mid lane is such a boon for Navi.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you can do on Ahri is just kind of sack your mana to perma-push. Basically, you spam Q off cooldown, but obviously the downside of that is you're just constantly committing your mana. But it helps that if every time you land Q, it seems to be hitting Vladi, which just gives you way more pressure and a lot more control over the wave. So credit to Poby, he's playing the mid lane matchup very well, even if the gold doesn't really matter that much in terms of the difference. But jungle supports now making their presence known in the mid lane, the level 4 mark. I don't expect too much to happen here. Let's see.
I think the best case scenario is just Bard is able to chunk down Vladi. As Poby is so
charm connects to Poby. Rhilech is on the way in. Not quite able to dash. He forces a flash.
What?
I mean, he was so scared of Rhilech flashing there with the Q2.
But even if he did, I don't think he was going to be in range.
I'm not sure. It would be close, but it's the type of mental game.
It is that mental game. Because Gragas is the same thing, right? You just press E, and you're just like, am I flashing or am I not flashing? Yeah, I mean, Vladi lost that mental warfare. Rhilech scores a double W.
I mean, Vladi losing the mental warfare is starting to become the theme of this Fnatic roster thus far.
The difficult position. Again, we needed bot lane and mid lane to step up. That was the focus point. The good news for Fnatic is Empyros is once again doing well in lane, but now on a champion who scales so much better into the later stages. Maybe that will be the difference maker. Upset picking up a Cole, not too surprising. That bot lane's going to need a little bit more time, but as you said, Vladi falling behind, difficult. Again, the gold is close, but not winning out where you would expect them to.
I do think it's important to point out that with Razork ganking bot, while they weren't able to actually kill Parus, it gave a lot of relief to this Fnatic bot lane. And now they're actually pretty much equal CS with Samdi, and Upset picking up the call as well. Should be able to kind of stabilize that gold lead unless Samdi's able to continue picking up plates now as they get the first dragon, and Fnatic are continuing the 0 first dragon scoreline.
Yeah, Navi are continuing just their consistency at controlling this objective. Top side is going to be traded as the crab is secured. And you know, we've been talking about this mid lane matchup a lot, but to be fair, as we've highlighted, the gold's still very even. So it's not the end of the world for Vladi. In terms of itemization, he's still going to be fine. His tier is continuing to stack up. And Poby, he's also in a very comfortable position. So all in all, it's still a very even mid lane state.
Very true. And looking ahead towards level 6, as Vladi already has his, Razork's is right around the corner. They might have lost the objective, but the Grand Starfall, this is where you can really start to be a threat on the side lanes, open up for this pick-style composition in the middle portion of the game, give more space for Upset to scale, give more time for this Yunara really to come online. So Fnatic should now be able to bring a lot of that power that they picked up in Champions Select to bear.
I would love to see Vladi and Razork moving together, try to utilize some of those globals to make some picks happen, because trying to get that early game ball rolling is exactly what Fnatic need to really bounce back after that tough game 1.
Parus on the roam once more, has the level 6. You know, I will say one of the big changes that I think is great for supports that came in this year with the role quests is that you now have more justification to roam less and actually get the XP rather than forced to roam around the entire map and cover for all your lanes. That doesn't mean that all pro supports generally do that, but on average they are a higher level, so good for you supports, you deserve it. Shout out to support.
What? Medic isn't here, bro. You don't gotta make that
true.
propaganda
Like 7
anymore.
minutes in, like, bro, the number of times I've seen pro level supports 12 minutes into the game, my support's still level 5. Guys, we have to fight the grubs. And then it's that fight over mid-wave for the level 6 in order to contest the grubs. That's what we talked about last year.
I'm just telling you right now, gold is a prison. You're holding yourself too strong on the material goods. You should get to level 6, get at least 1 point in all your abilities, and then CC people. That is true support play.
Yeah.
You don't need money. You don't need experience. Give it to somebody else.
Just be happy.
Just to be clear, Drakos is an AD carry main telling people this, just to be super clear.
I just play ARAM, bro. I'm just trying to ruin other people's experiences. I think it's trolling is what I'm doing right now.
Okay. Right, I'm looking where the junglers are. I see Rhilech hovering around the bot side river. He's not really been focused on looking for any ganks. On the Aatrox, he focuses more about farming than he is anything else. He wants to get those items. A bit more of a scale. Oh, look at that pocket of darkness he's sitting in right now. Is there really a play here, though?
I'd be very surprised if there's a play here.
Observers are keeping us waiting, though. Rhilech has also identified that there is not a play here.
So this is my favorite Ahri fun fact. So you'll notice that she's level 8, right? And she has the Lost Chapter.
Yeah.
Not enough AP to one-shot the caster minions.
By fun fact, do you mean #1 complaint you spam in the
That all
Riot message board?
that all Ahri players complain about. You just need a little bit more AP and you can one-shot the caster minions.
Well, Rhilech has been caught out. The Pantheon has come online. They go golden to give themselves an extra moment, but it just gives time for Lospa to go in. Parus not going to connect on the stun. The exhaust is down into Rhilech, but he's still managing to connect the Qs for a little bit of extra healing. Poby forced to dash away. A Genji logo appears, and down go NAVI. Parus on the way out. Razork debating, but a nice pick from the side of Fnatic.
And Fnatic finally making use of those globals with the Taliyah ulti. They're able to take down Rhilech despite all the healing. Upset moved first, crucially there, so he was able to take him out. And somebody was not able to match.
I think that's the most important thing. And it's something we did see a bunch from Fnatic in the previous game. Quick to react and having the numbers advantage. The fact that they could get 4 people into that fight, preventing SamD from being involved, was a key difference maker in this engage. So we can see Rhilech securing the crab, the ulti comes down and buys a little bit of time, but the Ezreal just can't move over.
And I thought, to be honest, when Rhilech was able to flash out, they were able to get the stun from Parus. Parus bought so much time that Rhilech would be able to heal up the damage, but with Upset, with that ultimate and the Yunara damage, was able to take him down, and somebody was just not in range to help out.
And crucially, didn't have the Sundered Sky yet. Finding that window of opportunity before that first item completion, very big for the side of Fnatic. That said, Rhilech resets, gets back on the map, immediately sets his sights on these grubs. Now, doesn't have pressure in mid, doesn't have pressure in top, but doesn't care. He just sneaks one away and wanders off.
Yeah, as Lospa here gets charmed up.
They know he has no ultimate.
Damage. Maybe
No ulti for Poby though, so they'll just have to be happy with the damage that they've gotten. Can they use this to get much more? They've got a couple of fairly shallow wards on the bottom side of Fnatic's jungle. Ulti bots.
Tries Pantheon coming in, but Parus there just in the nick of time.
Really good arcane shift there by Samdi. I was thinking Rhilech might cancel his base once they got that chunk on Lospa and go back to those grubs, but Razork is just continuing to cancel them here on bot. But Rhilech is opening up towards that bot side. But Razork here is going to have a field day, being able to continue cancelling Samdi's base, and then Upset's going to push in this bot wave. That's going to be a whole wave denied for Samdi.
Rhilech walking up, assuming he has the luxury of an isolated 1v1. His Empyros just barely able to land the counter-strike onto Maynter. Still doing fine on the top side as he gets closer to that Trinity Force. Rhilech is here, but he's the only one here. Smite away, working out for Fnatic, and finally building a goal lead for themselves. And I gotta say, the first few minutes of landing phase, we were skeptical. It looked a little bit grim, but that one play seems to have put them back into a comfortable position, and they're just a lot more active on the map.
Very importantly though, Rhilech has started up that second dragon. It's again just Fnatic that have full Drake control. Navi, I mean. Have full Drake control, and they're just keeping that stat line up, and Fnatic can't do anything.
Rhilech hovered around the bot side jungle when Razork was basically being a pest. He was interrupting the base of SamD, he was trying to deter them away from the wave and the tower as much as possible, and they were trying to get more farm and a little bit of gold into Upset's back pocket. But because of that, he knew exactly how much time Razork had spent, and he knew that Upset needed to base. So he uses this reset on the side of Fnatic to start up the dragon and secure it uncontested. Just great awareness and also great respect, because you saw him contesting that Grom. That could have ended in his demise, especially with Lospa hovering around that area. But the reason why I want to sing his praise is just Rhilech had a great game one. He's had a great regular season performance. And for a rookie to have this debut in the LEC, he's clearly a very smart player and he's consistently performing at a very high level. So credit to him. He's having a fantastic LEC Versus tournament.
It's been wonderful to watch him play. The champion pool that he's been bringing out, just his versatility, and the fact that he also brings that discipline as well and just always has a clear game plan. Picking up now 3 grubs, both Drakes, while also just pressuring the map well. You can't really ask for much more as a jungler.
And we keep expecting kind of the other shoe to drop, right? We keep expecting him to turn back into a pumpkin at the end of the night. There's no way this guy can keep playing cool stuff, keep having good early games, but it just continues to be the case. As we saw it in Game 1, now we're seeing it in Game 2, and across most of the regular season, this guy is a force to be reckoned with.
He's even giving you the thumbs up. He knows we're talking about him. He's like, thanks for the shout out, guys. He's going to continue with his jungle clear. Power farming like a madman. Razork does have a small gold lead because of that early kill that he was able to get. And with the Herald spawning in a minute and a half, we'll see how much priority both teams put on that objective as Razork looking to steal away some of those camps from Rhilech.
Taking away the blue, trying to get a more substantial lead. Stealing the camps was a solid start. Getting the extra blue for Vladi also feels good. But conceding 2 Drakes can be tricky. Rhilech ready to contest on Gromp. Lospa could think about going over the wall. Luckily for Navi, though, did the due diligence to set up some of the vision. TP is there. Tempered Fate forcing out the flash. Razork forced to flash away as well. But now the ulti from Maynter. Maynter's not done. Vladi gonna follow. I don't think there's much of a fight here, but they're at least gonna get one more flash. Empyros, the real winner here, as he's been left completely alone on top side.
Yeah, this is huge for Fnatic. Empyros is gonna be able to continue hitting top here with the probably demolish, get those plates down, and he was not taking the recall to match Maynter, so Maynter loses a lot, but Razork might have been able.
It's done. Upset now on the way. Wall coming in. Parus already used the portal. Critically, has to flash away himself. The fight just keeps on going. Zombie is winning here. Excellent stun. Rhilech good over the wall. That Aatrox hitting like a truck. Poby on the way in. Dashing in just in time. Trying to find the extra charm. An extra dash. Reset. Flick back from Vladi is good to buy a bit more time for the carry duo of Fnatic, but it is a bloodbath on the bottom side.
While Fnatic was getting a lot on the top side of the map, Navi wasn't wasting time. They were actually committing a huge amount of resources to the bot side of the map. They were trying to zone upset away from the tower. They were trying to make it difficult for Razork to contest any of his bot side camps. And that means that they had the numbers advantage and they threatened to fight. The craziest thing was that it was Fnatic that started it. Fnatic actually have the numbers advantage at the start of this fight. And again, I love this control. I love the advantage that they're building. But then look, thanks to the Taliyah ulti, they create the numbers advantage. But Rhilech says, I don't care. I'm going in anyway.
Yeah, and Parus there, dodging out on that Taliyah W. Is able to continue fighting off. Sandy hitting the Qs as well. And then Poby finally moving in with that Ahri ultimate. I mean, Fnatic getting forced into tower. I think the biggest win has to be top lane, though. Empyros got 4 plates solo. Now it's a 30 CS lead as well. Completed that Trinity Force, and that gives Razork the confidence to start this Herald.
But we find ourselves in a similar position to Game 1, where it's now Empyros against Poby and Sandy, who are getting the gold that they need to be the carries for their team.
To be fair, the odds of a Jax carrying against 2 Fed carries versus a Renekton, I'm gonna much favor the Jax. So if there was a game to do it, could be this one.
This is the game for Mr. Jacksplank to show us what he's all about. And
I do have to be honest though, like Jax into Ezreal Ahri is not very good. Like you'd really want to have like 4 traditional carries that are just gonna
maybe
attack
for
you.
a regular Jax, but for the Jacksplank, for the Emperor, no. We'll have to find out. We'll see for ourselves firsthand. But again, Razork did get a kill in the previous fight, traded for Poby's kill back onto Razork. So.
By the way, I feel like you're not appreciating the Jacksplank enough. Because it's because he plays Jax and Gangplank.
I understand.
He was a 2-trick.
Yeah,
I understand.
No, I get that.
I want to see the Gangplank.
That would be cool. Probably needs to be buffed, though.
Probably needs it. Riot Games, please. 10 more damage on Ahri, whatever, with Lost Chapter that Betty was complaining about, and GP buffs.
It's like 10 more AP, it'll be completely fine. First tower in the top lane goes to Fnatic, so they will gain a gold lead once more. But Dragon, gentlemen, we've been saying it all series long. Dragon spawns, Navi's there, and which player is on it first? None other than Rhilech, already starting this objective off.
Poby waiting for the TP to complete, hits the perfect charm. Empyros, though, has the shield. Love that change for top laners. Samdi, good ult to chunk Razork and Lospa. Lospa going to keep the fight going on to Maynter. Maynter able to sidestep the knockback. Empyros in the pit. Razork doesn't have flash to get over, so that's Infernal Drake to the side of Navi. Empyros is just going to leave. Spectator objective here as Fnatic commit enough to watch it go down, but not enough to really force a fight.
But I think what Navi did was good. They had Ezreal in that brush, they had Sion on the gateway, and then they basically had 2 members on the dragon itself. Empyros tries to go into the pit by himself, but Poby's there to assist, and there's no way for Fnatic to actually enter that space. They're so reliant on Lospa getting an engage that if they don't find it, there's nothing they can do.
And Navi held the space well, but that looked so awkward for Fnatic with Empyros wanting to try to fight, wanting to jump in. At the end of the day, it's 3 dragons now for Navi. They're looking down the barrel of a 4th. And if Navi can get that soul,
I mean,
it's
Infernal,
Ahri, Ezreal.
For the Ahri Ezreal, I mean, you're talking about it already, right? This is tough. Empyros 1.5k gold lead. Maybe we can see a situation where he starts to be that massive side lane threat or finds that flank in those team fights. But again, Navi have been so diligent. I can close my eyes and turn around and not cast the rest of this game, and in 4 minutes they're going to be on that Drake.
Yes, they will.
Because there's nothing in the world that they will give up for a Drake.
What they will is they will say, okay, we'll give you your first dragon of the game for a Baron.
That's true.
That's a fair
that is one possible. I would say that's a terrible trade for Fnatic, but
yeah,
it might be the only option. Is Maynter just wants to clear the wave here.
Maynter is like, I wonder if Odoamne is getting like memories of his time. Oh, hang on a minute.
It's not Maokai, so I don't think Odoamne is there yet, but Samdi has been caught out, crucially lost, but going through, not just barely, not enough damage. The hot cocoa coming in to keep Samdi standing, but Rhilech is going to be forced to flash away as Parus going to move through with the portal and escape. Navi barely holding onto their lives, so that's a big advantage for Fnatic.
I mean, it feels tragic though for Fnatic. You really wanted to be able to pick up a kill. You do get the flash from Samdi and Rhilech, but it was so close. If Epset just was a little bit further ahead, had a little bit more damage, it could have been 2 kills and been a whole different fate for Fnatic. Is now
tower disabled. Charm goes a little bit wide. Fancy footwork coming in from Vladi as the tower comes back online. Navi realizes there's not much of a play here, but one more dash from Poby should be enough. However, the unraveled earth, Poby! We wanted to see more, and he's giving it to us. They will turn it into a 2-for-1, but Vladi, it's just a hand stiff.
Vladi is back, baby. He's able to take the outplay and take down 2. Samdi crucially sniping him with the ultimate. As the action might not be over just yet. Lospa looking for Samdi here.
Runs with the punt. Knocks it back. Upset's very low. But Empyros is here. They have a man advantage, and that's often all you need in League. It's only 2 members of Navi, so they will retreat.
Sometimes when you watch Fnatic, you just hear fight, 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 fight. As this fight starts off here with Parus looking to tunnel behind Vladi. But Vladi had a great flash here onto the charm. Oh, actually, he didn't flash the charm. He flashed the Q from Ahri.
That's why the if is really important on the Ahri. The if is the most important part, because then once he throws the Unraveled Earth back down, he can't charm anymore, so he's stuck under tower with the aggro. My bad indeed.
That's my bad.
My bad. Bite the nail.
Yeah.
Oh,
bit of an awkward one.
Sorry, guys. Guess he's Faker. Just
But
had the movement.
That is a huge injection of gold for Vladi. Rhilech immediately completed. That means that now the 2 mid laners similar in itemization, which is such a value add for him. The gold dead even across the board. The big advantage Navi has is the dragon. So by no means are Fnatic out of this game just yet. And remember, we talked about scaling Drakos. We still give them that advantage. In the front to back, Yunara, Taliyah, the amount of space they can control, the amount of damage they have is something that you cannot afford to underestimate.
So that's part of the power of Navi's game plan, as we just have another fight.
Vladi stunned up. Parus, can he find the stun? Not quite. Poby finds the charm, and a Razork blocks a lot of the initial damage with the Aegis Assault, but no longer has that cooldown. Might need to get to melee range just to get a Sundered Sky proc, and he does. Maynter wants to keep the fight going. Lospa with the Unbreakable Will. Poby's forced to pop the ult. TP on the way top. It's a full-on fist fight, but Maynter got knocked back under tower, and there's nowhere for him to go. A good pick for Fnatic. A minute until the Drake.
A huge overforce from Navi. They were really committed to finding this pick, and they're just not able to find it. And the Baron is alive. That is very low health targets on the side of Navi. Fnatic, though, don't want to risk it. They realize against an Ezreal, it's a little too ambitious. Let's look back at the play that was just such an overforce.
I mean, they want to try to go on Vladi since he has no flash, but with Parus not able to get the stun on him, they're not able to really chase them down. And then they tried to get onto Razork, but Maynter and Samdi are here, but it's such an awkward spot because you can't chase them fully into tower. The charm ends up missing as well, and you have such good chase down potential with this Taliyah Yunara as well.
The thing that was awkward for me is how they just kind of streamlined into Noah's Ark, right? It was one by one. Normally 2 by 2, but they started to play only with 2 people. They needed more members to commit to that fight, and it was very awkward.
Only single people will understand. That's what it comes down to. But no, credit to Razork. Body blocks the charm, knows he has the Aegis Assault. They don't line up in a way to start the barn. But it's Dragon time. And Navi are there, but they're a little late to the party. It's Fnatic with first setup. Poby waiting over the wall. Rhilech trying to poke with the Infernal Change. Maynter getting chunked out. Lospa uses his full combo. They flick back Rhilech. It's a good start. A charm again, going wide for Poby, but a massive chunk of healing for Rhilech. It looks like the Thunder Sky is able to proc. Upset continuing to throw down so much damage, and he's basically untouched.
Oh, these
health
HP
bars in the favor of Navi now as they turn it back as Vladi gets poked. It's the 3-man knockup. It's Infernal.
Oh my God.
And it's all going to hell for Fnatic.
It's Dragon for Navi. When you fight them at this objective, they're going to make it happen. A beautiful ace. They'll turn their attention to the Baron, and Navi takes full control of this second game.
I mean, Navi and Dragons, it's a match made in heaven as they pick up that Infernal Soul. As we watch the replay back here, Fnatic are actually the ones with the setup. Empyros is on the flank. It could be a great fight for them, but Lospa starts off by getting chunked. Razork goes on to Maynter, not the ideal target, and they're nearly able to pick up Rhilech, but he gets 700 healing from that Thunder Sky proc, and with him not going down, Upset doesn't have the damage, and then Poby finds the charm onto Vladi. They're able to pick him up, and then, I mean, this Dragon could really go any way there. He goes to 60 HP, and Rhilech is the one that ends up securing it, and with that, you have to feel that this game
Well, on the
might just be
positive
over.
side, it's not the best soul.
On the positive side,
yeah, look,
it's not the best soul.
That's rude of him, because that's what we were going to say in our Silver Lining for Clouds segment. But again, credit to Poby. Third time is the charm with the charm, because he whiffed 2 back-to-back. Whiffed one at the start of the fight, whiffed the one top lane. That one connecting, making the difference.
But
now,
what I will also say, right, is something I talked about in draft was Ezreal. And how he can be a difference maker. And you saw how in the longer the fight goes, if you're landing Qs, that damage sticks. And credit to Sam D. That man is an artist in his ability to land those Qs in that fight and just chip away at Fnatic's HP. Because Upset did his absolute best.
No. He did probably 15 autos in that fight, which is more than most AD carries ever managed to get. It just wasn't enough damage. Just wasn't able to shred through the front line. And you highlighted it so well, too, Jack. With ulti, if you do not one-shot Rhilech, they burn all their CC trying to kill him. That single auto heals him up 800 HP, and all of your CC has just been spent ineffectively.
Yeah. I mean, that's why League is a game of inches. If they were able to pick up Rhilech there, they can secure that soul. The whole game could look completely different. But just barely missing that 400, 500 damage, he's able to heal that back up. And as you said, Vedi, I mean, Samdi's just been such a consistent pillar for this team. It always feels like he performs no matter what. And on this Ezreal now, with 3 items, he's just going to be able to continue poking with that Infernal Soul. It's going to be so difficult for Fnatic. They need to find an engage before Samdi pokes them down.
Empyros continuing to split on the side lane, but currently Navi are only playing on 2 lanes.
Sorry, just another fun fact. If our observers can click Samdi just when he's like hitting on these towers, you'll see that his Q basically doesn't have a cooldown. That man, once you get to this point in the game, you're just spamming that Q, and the poke is unrelenting. It's a scary thing to deal with.
Ulti through the portal. Managed to clip him.
Parus has had a great bard game. Like his use of the portals, his ulti that he got on the last fight.
He whiffed 2 of the Qs in the earlier stages of the game.
Fine.
But the rest has been pretty flawless. And once again, they're doing the math problem on if they can kill Rhilech. For now, the answer is no, but maybe they've got the damage this time around. Nope, it's more healing.
Fnatic, look at the chase here. Upset dashing over the wall, gets the slow onto Rhilech.
Done. Empyros moving in. Can't get in range for the counter-strike, though, crucially. Vladi going over the wall, looking to lock up Samdi. He's out of mana. The Qs stop when you run out of mana, Vedi. Shut down for Fnatic. Breathing a bit of life back into the team.
Credit to Fnatic. They're not going down without a fight. They look for a pick, and they find it. They're able to take out Samdi. They get a nice injection of gold, and they'll stall the game a little bit longer. Elder is on the horizon, but this start of the play looked a little bit shaky.
Yeah, I mean, they're able to get onto Razork here, and it crucially dodges the charm, so he's able to get out. And then Rhilech goes low, but with the Thunder Sky, with the ultimate, we have another play. Vladi is in trouble.
Vladi's out of mana. Flash from Poby. Foxfire for movement speed. Wall for movement speed. Oh, the Bard's going to finish the job. Oh, Parus denying them the 1v1. Vladi going down. Still 2 minutes to Baron. 2 minutes to soul, so not the end of the world, but feels nice for Parus.
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a weird trade because now both mid laners just don't have flash. Who that ends up benefiting more, I guess we'll have to wait and see in the next fight. But the reality is that Empyros now has a target. He's got someone that he can look to try and shut down, remove from the fight, take that Ahri out. Even if she uses a Spirit Rush to retreat, that could be an advantage. Of course, Sam D without his flash is probably the bigger target, as Empyros, Jack's been highlighting it all game. Finding ways for this Jax to have an angle in the fight is the most important thing, because with the amount of dashes that Poby and Sam D have, you either want to burn them or find a way to lock them down or something to make it easier for him to basically find that isolated skirt.
That's really the difficulty of this Jax pick. You're up against an Arcane Shift with the Ahri ultimate as well. There's so much mobility on Navi carries, so even though they don't have the flashes, there's a lot of tools for them to play around. Fnatic looking for a Death Rush here in the Tri-Bush, but a Sion is not exactly what they were looking to fish for.
Good news is upset third item completed. Healing reduction and some armor penetration, crucial against both the frontliners.
We're going into this Elder fight with only a 3k gold lead for Navi.
Yeah.
This Elder could really go anyone's way here.
I mean,
Empyros might be a bit in trouble.
Items.
It's Empyros is zoned away. That ulti's going to hurt a little bit, but he's just trying to hold the tower. It looks like they're willing to concede the Elder to just try and end the game, but we got recalls from Fnatic. Fnatic don't like their odds here as Maynter is still in the area trying to disrupt them as best as he can.
I mean, Navi called their bluff. They said it's 20 seconds to Elder Dragon. You guys are grouping too early. We'll just push down mid and take this inhib. And now we get control of the Elder completely as you guys are forced to base. And now Fnatic is in a perilous situation here. Razork trying to find an angle, but Navi decided not to start it.
What's frustrating for Fnatic is even though they were there first, even though they were forced to recall, all the vision has already been cleared out. They see so little on the map. Poby hoping to find a flank over the wall, does catch Razork with the charm before the Aegis Assault can come out, so a bit of health that'll be missing as we go into the fight.
Good damage. Any damage you can find. The poke damage is really, really valuable. Razork getting this red buff will heal him a bit, but there's Sam D with the Qs.
Going in, Lospa once again burning a CC on Maynter, definitely not ideal, but he just can't get into the squishy members of the team.
Look at this setup, like they have no vision, they look for picks. How do they approach?
Extra damage, wall goes down, zoning them away. Navi content to let their jungler just keep going. I mean, it's gonna take a while, they have soul, but they don't care. They'll just try to fight 4v5 if they have to. Parus coming back up the wall, Empyros praying to find the angle. Razork's in, but the ulti is short, and Sam D! Oh, he's just shooting fish in a barrel, Essence Flux. Followed by the Arcane Shift. Vladi now caught out. Oh, a long time. The Decimating Smash going in. Empyros wants to turn it, but the Elder is not there. Fnatic managed to steal it in the meantime. Excuse me.
And Navi have kited them. They've outplayed them. Fnatic are falling by the wayside. And Navi will look to end this game with Rhilech taking down upset as well. It's a 2-0 for Navi up against Fnatic.
Systematic control. Navi get the Elder. Navi get the fight. Navi get everything.
Dominating performance, a 2-0 to kick off their playoffs to continue their journey in the upper bracket up against the winner of our next match today. Fnatic sent down to the lower bracket, given time to think, to ponder what they could have done better because Navi just built different.
Stellar performance by Sam D, especially who saw it in that last Elder fight. It just made it so difficult for Fnatic to enter. He kept poking them down, making their lives miserable, and Fnatic couldn't do anything.
Bro, it's just Navi at Dragon and Navi not at Dragon, two different beings, I feel. Like, when they're everywhere else on the map, Fnatic found picks, they found good fights, they found punishes, they found this, that, and everything. But the moment that Navi approaches the Dragon, it feels, you just can't move them. Their setups, their approach, everything, they just execute to perfection.
Completely true. Of course, you can vote for your player of the series, the player that you think impacted the most here. Rhilech, Poby, or Sam D. Honestly, all good options.
Oh yeah, absolutely.